So we were talking about what is creativity, what is art, and let's not talk about art, let's just talk about the creative force. That force redefines you in the moment. It's like a greater yet to be form of yourself has just incarnated, boom, in that moment. As the creator of an art form or a momentary bit of genius on your guitar or something, you have been recreated yourself. You didn't create something and you're unchanged. You were changed in the creating of it. And that is a force field beyond material energy. This is a change in consciousness. You become more trusting of those impulses to create in ways that you never thought possible before. The only way I can even say these words is because I'm surfing with probably all 10 toes right out on the edge of a surfboard called my creative mind. And with the music in the background and Richard helping me to pay attention to what I'm trying to say, I gain new insights and perspectives only because I'm in the moment of creation with this experience of not knowing, of not being sure what's coming next. The same is most likely true for any guitarist, keyboardist, vocalist. Sometimes you send your voice out on a lilting plane of possibility and you don't know where you're going to come down. How long can I sustain this note? How long should I sustain this note? Should I quaver? Should I vary? Should I vibrato? What should I do in that moment? Should I drop to a lower octave to save my voice so I can hit a higher note later? You know, there's a lot of things that you're deciding as an artist in the moment, down to the microsecond, or at least it appears that way to your mind. What's really happening is you're giving yourself over to a transpersonal force called creativity that is like plugging you into every other artist who ever lived or will ever live. And therefore you are part of, you're part of a continuum of creators right back to the creator of the entire universe. And whoever's up in the future, the omega point, that's probably the same thing. When the entire universe comes down to just a single point, trillions upon billions upon quadrillions of years from now, you know, the omega, the alpha, and the omega, when we get to that point, what will we see there? You can only see your own reflection in creativity itself, in cosmic consciousness itself. So an artist is a traverser of the event horizon between total quantum consciousness and this instantaneity we call art. This instantaneity we call art. This instantaneity we call art. That is the creative event horizon between total immersion of your mind in the emptiness of form and the manifestation of form through you, just like a mushroom that's part of the wider mycelium of life and art, because art and life are pretty much the same thing. Time and life and art, they're all part of a creche. Because if you don't see nature herself as a creative being, if you don't see nature as having designed all this, with the yin-yang, Shiva Shakti dance, what do you see? What do you see? What do you see? Just mechanistic chemical interactions? How can chemicals ponder their own existence? It's not possible. Chemicals don't ponder their own existence. Only sentient beings were partaking of much higher order frequencies of awareness and intelligence than any chemical could ever produce. Okay, I'm not saying chemicals are dumb things. I'm just saying we are not merely mechanistic results of all the chemicals in our brains, nor is society just here to try us and trouble us, but it is here as a creative lens through which we can project our visions of the future. In other recordings by yours truly, you will find that I have elucidated a great many solutions to the world calamities, but I'll give you about a dozen of them right now. Decentralized food production, space-age technology development, increased social infrastructure development around the world to ensure regional self-sufficiency over macroeconomic dependence on centralized resource production, end resource depletion by implementing any number of conservation strategies and new mining strategies as well, such as taking minerals from the sea bed, but not in a destructive way, but in a way that employs robot technology to just gently float over the surface of certain fields of crystalline nodules that exist on the bottom of the ocean. And then you can stop mining the seas, the rest of the world, but you can mine the seas instead. But you can't have a big net going over the bottom and grabbing that stuff up, because it'll just destroy the ecosystems on the bottom of the ocean. I'm not going to get to a dozen solutions, but we are going to run out of resources. If free energy comes along, we'll be able to do something kind of amazing, which is precipitate material goods themselves directly out of space, probably in 100 to 150 years once we get our shit together. But the point is, the Earth does it. Think about it, the Earth does it. We can do it too. Obviously, they say the sun did create many of the heavier elements, but I actually believe the Earth had a hand in it too. So what I'm trying to say is, we live not in the inanimate universe that most scientists would like to subscribe you to believe in. We live in a luminous and boundless, creatively potentiated universe, and you are being changed in this very moment by listening to this, because you're going to have to develop an opinion, or you're going to have to develop more dynamicism in your own life just from having listened to this, or you're going to take a completely neutral position and maybe bum yourself out someday that you never did choose to go beyond mere listening in your life, that you didn't really take a risk ever as an artist. You never risked anything. But if you don't risk sounding like an absolute fool, where will you go? What will you attain? Nothing significant, nothing noteworthy, except maybe a stable life. But I tell you, those who believe they're living stable lives today will soon discover, with climate change alone, there is no such thing. Therefore, art is a survival mechanism. Develop it now. Sell your guns and develop an art. Then you'll live forever and ever.